What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Oddshopper channel, coming to with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks NBA Playoff Edition. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. We got 3 games on Monday. We've got a lot of recapping to do. Obviously, I'll be recapping all of these throughout the week because, well, they're all going to have to play again. So we have all the game ones in the books besides, which just tipped off a little bit ago here, the New Orleans game. New Orleans and Oklahoma City. It's more the Oklahoma City game than it is the New Orleans one, if we're being honest. Well, you never know. I don't know. I ended up not taking a play on that one, which was very, very strange to me. But we're going to talk about the ins and outs of this slate because I do, friends, have a lock for you on it. And it is not one that I feel all that good about. Doesn't inspire awe to me, let me tell you, but sometimes those are the best locks where they're all data centric and they're not me using my basketball opinion or anything of that nature. It is just data, friends. But we're going to talk through all 3 of these games. Think there's some very interesting spots, not so much here in the first one, but some awesome basketball over the weekend. Home teams reign supreme so far. We'll see if that continues here with Oklahoma City. I bet it does, but every single home team just looking like they're going to put up a W. So good stuff. We'll talk BetMGM. We'll talk Oddshopper here. But producer Jacob, we got 3 games. We're not going to do the lean like lock way because, well, there's more than 2. And that's something we do with 2 games. But I think there are a couple plays where I'm doubling down on some stuff. We'll talk through it all. So without further ado, producer Jacob, hi, hello. Let's get to the picks. Let's take a little stroll here down memory lane as in Saturday. We're talking Orlando and Cleveland. You are looking at 5.5 coming in on the Orlando side after Cleveland handled their business. Now, Donovan Mitchell looked really, really good. He did not look good near the end of the regular season. That was one of the things that kind of freaked me out from betting this game and taking a look at this game and trying to figure out what to do. I ended up on the right side of some props here, but it's primarily just jamming Jonathan Isaac, and we'll talk about him a little bit as well. But I'm feeling quite confident here that this is Cleveland's series to win. We have Orlando 18-23 away from from Orlando, that is, this season, and defensively, they are awesome. There's no doubt about it. We've really enjoyed watching them. 111.2 adjusted defensive rating. That is 3rd best in basketball. They're 47-35. They're young. They have a lot of really, really fun talent in Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. And of course, Jonathan Isaac if he stays healthy. But let's be serious. If this is going to be a fully operational Death Star here for Cleveland, they're in a lot of trouble because Darius Garland didn't even really have a Darius Garland game. Max Strus knocked down like the first 3 of the game. Didn't really do a lot the rest of the way. 1 for 5 from 3 was still a plus 13, leading this team in plus minus, along with George Niang. Shout out Iowa State. 25 minutes from him, 1 for 7 from the field. Overall, Cleveland didn't even play that well. 26.7% from 3, 44.4% from the field. They just are better than Orlando at playing Orlando's game, and that is a little bit problematic for them. Now, if I'm Orlando entering this game, I do want to try to get to some lineups where I have Mo Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Jonathan Isaac on the floor and go massive. Just go super, super tall. It was almost like watching the Monstars out there. They put those guys along. Jalen Suggs ripped Gary Harris off the floor, who he was 0 for 5 from 3. And if he's going to be 0 for 5 from 3, just don't have him on the floor, period. 33 minutes of that idiot running. It's just not fun to watch. But I do think that there's a world where you get away from Wendell Carter Jr., who I just don't think has the defensive capabilities to deal with a Jared Allen and the offensive capabilities to really neutralize an Evan Mobley or anything. Evan Mobley, far more athletic. But I do think if you just have all those bigs on the floor at the same time, they got to kind of pick their poison. And if you're going to be playing fully defensive anyway, just get Mo Wagner on the floor, stack it up, clog the lane, but you got to rebound a little bit better because Jared Allen just smashed you in that regard. 15 defensive rebounds, 18 in total. Anywho, wanted to recap anything that I had seen there, wanted to talk you through it. That leads us to Jonathan Isaac, who probably one of the better stories of the postseason. This is a guy who's often hurt, has had multiple season-ending injuries over the course of his NBA career, but when healthy, there were only 43 minutes that this starting lineup for the Orlando Magic had shared the floor this entire year. That is absolutely asinine when you think about it. Less than a full game of minutes this Orlando starting 5 has had. But I will say, Jonathan Isaac, his role in the offense is just about perfect for a potential play on a big plus money three here. He only took 4 3-point attempts, but in terms of floor spacing, in terms of what they needed to do from adjustments, I could see them letting Jonathan Isaac sit out there and chuck even more going forward, especially if Gary Harris isn't going to be knocking down shots and be out on the floor. They are going to go to more of those big lineups. Now, I do think the numbers have adjusted properly. 17.5 PRA. He opened at 13.5, closed at 15.5 or 16.5 everywhere. At 17.5, I don't want to play on his PRA, but Jonathan Isaac over 1.5 threes at major plus money, like anything close to plus 160, is going to be something that is in play for me. I'm not going to bet it now because I do want to look at it relative to the rest of the games and the rest of the props that are available from this one. Plus, we got MLB exposure, plus everything else. So keep yourself in check with this. But Jonathan Isaac, 1.5 threes, and then Cleveland minus 5.5 here. Orlando, I think they're going to have a pretty good shot. I bet it'll be like 1 or 2 that they'll be not favored by. They'll be dogs in that spot in Cleveland or against Cleveland at home, but do think the home court reigns supreme here. And then what we saw from Donovan Mitchell, there's not an answer for that. There just isn't. They can't have Fultz out on the floor with his inability to knock down shots. So going to be very, very muted. Curious to see the chess match here, but probably not going to bet anything other than potentially Jonathan Isaac and anything over at Odd Chopper. Hey, let's talk Odd Chopper quick. OS Premium Tools, Discord Insider Access. I'll be quick. I'll be frank. It is an amazing tool that is back tested for profitability. It gives you access to everything in terms of the top positive expected value plays in the NBA, the MLB, the NHL, everything you know and love. You have an opportunity to bet and find positive EV plays for it. Hell, it's even had some UFC goodness. And I know we've got another massive UFC card for 301 coming up very, very shortly. It was awesome. Helped me jump onto Max Holloway nice and early a couple of weeks ago, that is for sure. So shout out to Odd Chopper for kind of instigating my research process there. But $14.95 weekly, you use promo code Lindy, Lindy, Mike Breen, bang, 20% off, friends, all in one package, expert picks, Discord, premium tools, all in one place. My betting card every single Monday through Friday. We'll see you there, friends. Down at the link below, continuing on our merry way with the picks. This is an awesome series. And I know it's going to look awful on paper from a total perspective and people who want to see offense, but the Garden was rocking. That second half was fantastic from the New York Knicks, but I'm going to give out an MVP of the game. It is no question, to me, Mitchell Robinson. 30 minutes of Mitchell Robinson came from the absolute ether. This guy has battled injuries. He was a starter, had been benched at times in closing lineups for Isaiah Hartenstein earlier in this season. Now, kind of role reversal here where Hartenstein, Joel Embiid got off to an early start. We saw the freaky, fluky, the put-back dunk from the heavens that he comes down awkwardly. And Joel Embiid, I think he's going to be good here. Obviously, they have injury management listed as his questionable tag here, so I'm not terribly concerned for it. I think he's going to be all right, although the way he plays, he's flopping around like a carp out of water anyway. Just going to always be freaky to watch. But Mitchell Robinson, friends, put in that work. 30 minutes from him, 12 boards, 4 blocks, 1 steal, 8 points, plus 20. Now, a lot of people say, here, what about Miles McBride, plus 37? What about Bogdanovich? Lord Bojan, plus 27. Yeah, but the starting 5 didn't even necessarily play that well for the Knicks. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen this in a box score before. The Knicks, they covered, won by 7, and not a single starter had a positive plus minus. That is unflippin' believable. It's one of the more insane factoids that I've looked at. And now I'm hearing talking heads say, oh, Embiid looked fine and they'll make adjustments. And, we got to probably take the 5 here. No. I'm going exact opposite with this. I think this is an opportunity to buy low on the starting 5 of the Knicks and then know that there are 8 guys. They're going to play 8 deep. Precious Achiuwa didn't even show up on the floor. So just throwing it out there that he's not even in the rotation with Mitchell Robinson back, but you got Lord Bojan out there to space. You got Miles McBride, who apparently can add spacing if he's going to go 5 for 7 from 3. And then you have a Knicks team that if it isn't Maxey and Embiid, I don't know where they're going to find themselves any extra offense. Kyle Lowry is not going to go 4 for 7 from 3, 4 for 4 from the line and put up 18 points in another game this series. Otherwise, I'll probably just hang him up, actually. Just saying. I know how good Embiid is. Embiid is a top 3 player in the NBA when healthy. That's always going to be a little bit of a question mark. And then Tyrese Maxey looked efficient, his normal self. But the Knicks have options. They can go away from OG or Hartenstein or DiVincenzo, who got the short end of the stick there. 24 minutes for him. Times have changed here. It is playoff time where you can play more physical. You can go to some of these bigger lineups, or you can go to Miles McBride if he is adding offense off the bench in a heartbeat. So I think this is a better spot to just run it back. I bet Knicks in that first game, if that 3 had gone at the buzzer, I would have lost my mind. But I'm running it back here, friends. Knicks -5. I'm happy to lay the extra half point. If I liked it in game 1, nothing I saw from game 2 is going to change my mind other than knowing that I've got extra outs with Mitchell Robinson defensively. You have extra outs by having as many sportsbooks signed up as possible, friends, including BetMGM. You sign up at the link below. First bet safety net up to $1,500. Get your bonus bets if your first bet loses. So you could take $20, deposit it at BetMGM at the link below. If you bet that 20, you're going to get it back in bonus bets if it loses. If your bet wins, keep your winnings. Take some shots on some big plus money numbers. And again, up to plus $1,500. We're talking $1,500 back in the account if your first bet loses in bonus bets. That's a great opportunity, something you want to be taking a look at. I know you have your DraftKings, your FanDuel. Add BetMGM to the fray as well. If you're 21 and over, signing up at the link below. If you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. One more game. It's got a lock. One of the things that sucks about doing this, I've been doing this for a living for years now, not just doing content, but I bet everything that I talk about, I spend hours and hours researching and putting it in. And one of the worst feelings is when a player who you know is not good, a player that you don't like, a player that you've bet against multiple times in certain situations come playoff time, ends up being your lock and you like an over on them. Oh my God. But the Lakers taking on the Denver Nuggets. Yep, we're going to run this one back. To recap game 1, it was basically the tale of 2 shooting splits. You had the Lakers shoot 27.6% from 3, 8 for 29 in that regard. Not that Denver went completely nuts there, but 35.7%, 42 3-point attempts themselves. They destroyed the Lakers in that regard relative to the fact that both teams shot quite a few threes. So if you're going to be running that one back here, Anthony Davis played 45 minutes and somehow didn't get hurt. I feel like that's an anomaly. Throwing that out there. You had LeBron and D'Angelo Russell out there for 41 minutes apiece. It's pretty wild. And nobody hit the 40-minute mark there for Denver. They were able to go 10 deep. They brought Justin Holiday in for a rotation. They had DeAndre Jordan playing 9 minutes there. Opted for him. Peyton Watson, 14 minutes there. There are going to be some interesting deals throughout this series where it wouldn't surprise me to see Anthony Davis or LeBron take over a basketball game. Maybe they sneak one, but Denver, for all intents and purposes, they're 33-8 on the season at home. They are the defending champs. And if they get 39 minutes out of Jamal Murray there, 9 for 24, didn't even look that good, but still was a +9, had 10 assists to go with it. Michael Porter Jr., you get that height, you get 6'9" Aaron Gordon, 6'10" Michael Porter Jr., 7-foot Nikola Jokic out on the floor. Really tough to find those extra boards here as well, although Anthony Davis did go up by half a rebound, of course, to lose my under 13.5 rebounds I had on him, because why wouldn't that happen? It's all right. I got 4 blocks out of him, so it's all right. Anywho, my lock. Here we are, my friends. Again, priors are things. I have a prior on D'Angelo Russell. I've never liked him. I didn't like him in Brooklyn. I didn't like him. I know Nick Young really didn't like him in Los Angeles, but goes to Brooklyn, kind of reinvents himself to a certain extent. He can play off ball. He can play with the ball. He can do different things to work in space. Now, he ends up having a weird stint with Golden State. He plays for my Minnesota Timberwolves. So much weird stuff for D'Angelo Russell in a very short NBA career to be bouncing around as much as possible. But it all goes down to one thing. Come playoff time, can you have D'Angelo Russell, who was an awesome offensive player this entire season, out on the floor with Jamal Murray on the other side, knowing you are going to attack him and Austin Reeves at every single turn? For me, I'm not sure, but I know 41 minutes here, they've made their bed. They don't have Dennis Schroeder on this roster to go to the way that they did last season to just take all of the defensive responsibilities. They were able to hit eject on any D'Angelo Russell poor shooting performance instantly. They're not going to do that with Gabe Vincent and his first percentile offense. They're not going to be able to do it in just about any capacity. And that opens up the floodgates for me at 15.5 points. This is such a buy low spot on a kid that has not shot the ball well. And again, I don't think he is a good playoff basketball player. I don't think the Lakers should be playing him tons of minutes. But what I think is not necessarily what they're going to do. And what they're going to do is, I guess, what you're kind of forced into. I guess I would have to play him these kind of minutes because I don't want to play Gabe Vincent. 40 minutes of D'Angelo Russell makes me feel pretty darn confident that 15.5 should not be this number. 16.5, 17.5. 17.5 sounds more appropriate to me, even though I've got him at 18.8 points for this game. So at 15.5 points, you're not finding a lot of bigger discrepancies than this over the course of a postseason. Now, I will throw this in there too. Jokic closed at plus 115, didn't bet his triple-double, don't think he should have. He's at plus 165 at open to FanDuel. I'm going to take another look at this. Was running some numbers on stuff, obviously, with MLB going on simultaneously. Can go back and forth, but I think Jokic, you're going to give me close to plus 160, 165. I at least have to entertain it. It was too short of a number at close for me to even entertain it for that game one. But D'Angelo Russell over 15.5 points, my favorite play on the day, even more so than Knicks -5, which is pretty wild. And then Joker. Yep. Jokic. I just combined Jokic and Joker in the same Joker. Yeah, we're going to end the show now. That's a good idea. Triple-double, just a lean there. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board. We are running back game ones. Don't forget, things can change, but at the same time, half a point, I don't think that's the kind of number that I was expecting to have shift for a Knicks team that's got a higher adjusted net rating. And, well, Mitchell Robinson playing 30 minutes makes me feel good. Also, D'Angelo Russell, probably going to like him a lot less if he doesn't go for 16 points. So, and I already don't like him. So there we go. Fun show. Thank you, producer Jacob. Good stuff. I'm going to be here throughout the NBA playoffs with you. Good stuff as always. Let's get some money, honey. Let's do this thing. And maybe I can get another laptop. I think it's due. Yeah. You guys don't give a shit. You don't know what I'm talking about. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Monday.